Good morning, Candidate King.
Morning.
Thank you so much for doing this series with us at Disability Rights Louisiana so that we can better inform people with disabilities on issues that concern them when they go to the polls. So before I get started with my questions, I just want to give you a moment to introduce yourself and
Okay.
anything else you'd like to tell everyone.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation today. My name is Councilman Freddie King III. I'm running for re-election in the City Council District C. I am born and raised a native of New Orleans, a native of District C, a native of Algiers. I attended Archbishop Shaw High School in Marrero for high school. I went to Southeastern Louisiana and Hammond, Louisiana, where I met my wife. We both from there went to Southern University Law Center in Baton Rouge. We've been married for 13 years. We have 5 children, and we decided to make the city, Algiers, our home because it's where I was born and raised. I want my children to have a similar, better, but a similar experience as I did growing up. I just love this city, so that's why I put myself out for public service, and that's why I'm seeking re-election right now.
That's great. It sounds like you have a lovely family.
I
So,
do. Thank you.
for my first question, what steps would you take to make New Orleans infrastructure and public spaces more accessible to all residents? And how would you ensure this residents with disabilities are at the table when
Mhm.
decisions are being made about the city's built environment?
Well, I, I always, sorry, my phone moved a bit. I'll always say, I like to tell people what I have done. Anyone can say what they want to do, what they will do, but I've actually um, been at the table with. Sorry about that. I just can't keep this phone stable. I've been at the table with those individuals who with disabilities who are able to say, Councilman King, like, hey, Freddie King, Freddie, look, this is the issues that we have. These are the issues that the everyday person without certain disabilities don't see. I've taken a ride in a wheelchair, and it wasn't anything for cameras or for social media, but just with a friend of mine, so you can see firsthand the issues that he faces, and that was a life changing ride. Again, it wasn't anything for social media, anything to be broadcasted. It just showed me the small things that people take for granted when it comes to sidewalks having a crack in it. He explained he explained that he may have to get all the way halfway down the sidewalk, realize there's a big crack or it's uneven, and have to go back around and find another place, another way of entry to a building or to wherever he's going. Um, just taking that ride for about an hour really changed my life, and having that and continuing that conversation with him and others with disabilities just showed the need for individuals with disabilities to be at the table to make sure when we're discussing the city's infrastructure issues that everyone voice is heard, and that everyone has that is equitable, that the city's infrastructure is equitable for everyone, not just those who don't have disabilities, but definitely for those who have disabilities. So again, just continue to do what I've been doing, listen to those who can better tell me, hey, these are the issues. This is what we need you to highlight. This is what we need you to push for us.
Thank you so much for doing all of that. So, for my second question, how will you support economic opportunity for residents with disabilities, and what steps would you take to ensure that jobs across the city, including city jobs and contracts, are truly inclusive and equitable?
Well, look, I will continue to fight for those regardless of your skin color, your mental or physical limitations. If you can do a job, you can do it with anyone else, you should be rewarded with that contract, with that job. As far as businesses and opportunities like that, small businesses, I support the best product, and that's the person who is doing the best job. I am a not playing a victim. I'm a Black man, and I know the difficulties of being stigmatized and treated less than because of something that you have no control over, just how you look. So I refuse to treat anybody less than just because of their color, their disabilities, or anything like that. So I just believe in treating everybody, uh, like the golden rule says, the way you want to be treated.
Right. And what is your vision for ensuring that residents with disabilities can access safe, affordable, and accessible housing in every neighborhood of the city? And how would you both address affordability and physical accessibility in housing
So,
policy?
so we just not just a couple months ago did a ribbon cutting on a great building just built on Saint Bernard, and around the Circle Food Store, and we made sure work with the contractors to make sure that that property had enough ADA accessible facilities that they again things that I don't always see with the naked eye, but making sure the doors are wider, the countertops, the appliances are low enough, making sure every property that is being built on city property with city funds have the ADA accessible countertops and just everything that goes along with that. And we've done that on the East Bank. We've done that on the West Bank. We've done it throughout the city and throughout the district. So just continue to make sure that everyone is being treated fairly and equitably.
Thank you so much, Councilman. How would you work to expand access to mental health care in New Orleans? And what role do you see the city playing in preventing incarceration of people with mental health conditions?
Well, this is a very important issue that no matter where you live, it affects you. A lot of people have mental health issues and they are living on the streets. And it's not because they want to, it's just because they have a mental health issue, whether that's no matter how they got it. Um, it's a serious issue. And I can tell you, I saw firsthand an individual receive he was homeless, he received housing, but he wasn't mentally able to live on his own. And we think, hey, we checked that box. We gave our, we collectively give ourselves a pat on the back because we got a person on the streets. But that person, I would say, was in a equally dangerous situation living on their own. We went to the home. There was feces on the wall. He just wasn't mentally able to live on his own. So I think working with homeless services, working with Unity, making sure before we house somebody, we give them the services, whether that's with a a mental health expert, some type of counseling to make sure that they are able to live on their own, or do they need some type of assistance? Working with our schools, a lot of times issues are undiagnosed and they grow while our children are in grade school. So I have a great relationship with a lot of our schools, Inspire, NOLA, Algiers, Charter, Crescent City Charter schools, making sure that our children get the care and they need before their mental health issues are exacerbated and it becomes something that it's more difficult to control as they get older. But no matter where you live, French Quarter, Algiers, Bywater, we all come across individuals have mental health issues, and that affects our lives. People don't realize it, but the person who has a restaurant in the French Quarter and they have a person sleeping on their steps in the morning, that person may be suffering from mental health issues. But we think it doesn't affect us every day. I don't have a mental health issue. My neighbors don't, but you come across somebody every day, whether you know it or don't know it, with a mental health issue. So I think that's a situation that the city will collectively have to work with everybody, state, federal partners, to make sure that everyone receives the help they get, because that is something that affects us every day as citizens of the city.
Yes, it does. And how would you advocate for more equitable access to Medicaid and other healthcare supports for disabled residents of New Orleans? And what types of policies would you oppose or support?
I would support anything that helps us get better access to. I hate to sound like I'm giving a simple answer, but whatever helps our our residents get access to those mental to those Medicare, Medicaid, any type of assistance. Congressman Carter is a dear friend of mine, and I would lean on him. A lot of that is federally or state regulated. I would support him, and I would state officials and even those who may not ideology their ideology may not align with mine. If they're trying to help us get the resources that we need uh, to society, and let's move forward together because I said before, but the mental health question, it affects everyone it affects us more than we realize. So helping with working with our state and federal there's sense of law to assure that these past residents get the health care that's needed. That's you have my uh, full support with.
Well, thank you so much. So that's all the questions for me, but is there anything else you'd like to add before I let you go?
Well, thank you again. Thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation with you. And anything that I can do, uh, please let me know. I say this. I try to keep my personal life personal, but I think people realize just how much uh, everyone has challenges. Every family has challenges, and for me, it was something as small. Well, I'm gonna say small, but we have a child who was born about 4.5 months premature, and she spent over 100 days in the NICU. Now, before then, I had no idea what the NICU stood for. I never heard of the NICU. It was nothing that even came on my radar. But my wife and I have that has been one of our passions, helping families, just being there because we were fortunate. Our child is thriving, doing great in school, but everyone doesn't have that same outcome. So, everyone has a different story and different things that are near and dear to their heart. But if we all just work together and help those that need our help, um, we'll have a much better city to live in. So whether you advocate for somebody or advocate for individuals with different physical disabilities or mental disabilities, just help somebody, and if everyone helps someone, our city would be much better. And we really have a passion for the babies who are in who are born prematurely, and that's what we do on our end personally to make the city a better place.
Well, thank you so much for everything you do, and we'll definitely be connected. And good luck
Thank you.
in the race because I know this is a busy time for you.
It is, but this is an important interview. I appreciate the time and opportunity.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.